thinking? I'm an idiot. Who would follow Peter Maloney? He is one of the greatest treasures of New York City theatre. As some of you may know, Gabriel Byrne was meant to come here tonight, but he got stuck working on a movie in New Orleans. Weather had put back the thing, and he does send his deepest regrets. My second choice didn't work out either tonight. Conor McGregor had an unexpected return. Anyhow, this whole evening is a scam. I'm not from Cavan at all. I was born in Drogheda, County Louth. But I was quickly whisked to the shores of Loch Ramor in the hill above it of Mormont, in the mythical county of Cavan. The town of Virginia is the nerve centre of what is commonly called the Southern Cavan Cultural Belt. Now, I just want to digress just for a moment, please, because I'm really, really a little nervous this evening, because despite the fact that I've actually appeared on the stage many times, I find public speaking to be quite a challenge. I actually have something to share with you, and I've shared it with my psychiatrist. See? Often when I tell a joke, people actually don't know when I've reached the punchline. So I've asked my friend over there when I point to him, so go. So, you'll know. So, there are many people from Cavan here tonight who know already of its extraordinary merits, but there are a good number who only know it by reputation. And this was a reputation that was honed by the comedian Neil Cobain, who coined the phrase, main Cavan bastard, right? So because of the night was in it, I reached out to Neil Cobain this week, and I told him I was going to be in a room full of Cavan people, and if there was anything he'd like to impart in the way of an apology. I spoke to his daughter Fiona, who told me that he wanted to thank the people of Cavan for affording him and his family a very nice living. He went on to say that he once actually travelled to Cavan to thank everyone personally, but someone stood up in the audience and said, well, you're more than welcome to have a laugh at my expense, but it's the only thing you're going to get at my expense. Now, I would like to dispense with some of the myths that Mr. Tobin had, dealing with the notion that Cavan people have a coveting relationship with their money. That some of them have their communion money intact. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fake news.
That's not true. That's Trumpy.
We are a modest people, and we do not take credit for inventing copper wire. Though, in fact, it was invented by two Cavan people pulling on a penny. Thank you. Many is the time I took 12 of my closest friends to the Hamptons, where I spent the day with them. They said that's all I spent. My beloved children accused me of installing double-glazed windows so they wouldn't hear the chimes of the ice cream truck. All right, enough. I'm so very honoured to be here tonight, to be recognised by the county where I took my first shaky steps, and especially one on the significant 170th anniversary of the Cavan P&B. Now that's what I call a long run. There are many days when I feel I had been at the first one. 1848, when the Cavan men were coming to have their first meeting, that was the first year that the Irish tricolour was flown in Ireland. In 1848, my great-great-granduncle, Father Tom O'Reilly, was the parish priest of Atlanta, Georgia. When Sherman came marching in a few years later and burning everything before him, Father Tom threatened the Union officers with excommunication if they touched his or any other church of different faiths. The churches at some of the buildings were the only ones that were left standing, and there's a statue of Father Tom down and outside the City Hall in Atlanta. A memory of that. Barack Obama famously wrote a book entitled Dreams from My Father. That's a title I would steal if I ever get around to writing a book. When I learned from my father is that dreams don't happen by sitting around and talking about them. In his life, he saw what needed to be done and he started. And I witnessed that throughout my life growing up. And there's something very powerful about the phrase that says, today is the day we're going to start. I want to share a story from Virginia County, Cavan. Cut to, as they say in the movies, 1950s Ireland, wrapped in a severe economic depression. In our town there was little in the way of secondary education. The nearest school was 20 miles away and there was no public transportation. Kids left the national school at 11 years of age and joined the workforce. My father was a farmer, but he was also in the Dáil, the Irish Parliament, where he represented Cavan, and he goaded the Department of Education to fix this deficiency, but to no avail. The little funds that existed went to the cities, so he took the matter into his own hands. What he did was organise a few local farmers who built a ballroom, which became known as the Farmers' Hall. People came and danced, and the proceeds from the door provided the money to start building the school, and the rest of the funds was raised when those same farmers guaranteed a loan from the bank to start building. They could have lost their homes, they could have lost their farms in this harebrained scheme, but they didn't. That ballroom of romance brought couples together whose children and grandchildren attend what is now Virginia College. That's part of That's a part of my father's legacy, and the one that was never very far from our thoughts when we got together to start an Irish theatre company here in New York. So I'm thinking of my father, Paddy O'Reilly, here today, and my mother, Maureen. I think they'd have been so happy to be a part of this celebration, and they are here. Spirit. I am truly overwhelmed that so many people travelled here tonight from great distances, exotic places like Paris, London, Maspa, San Francisco, Cavan, North Carolina, Fifth Avenue, Central Park West, Chelsea, Parsippany, Woodside, Middle Village, all these places. You know, the thing is, they may be geographical, but we all know they're really states of mind, you know. And I'm really in a storious state of mind here tonight. I have so many families here tonight. There's my theatre family, collaborators and artists who I'm honoured to work alongside every day, and most especially my friend and partner, Charlotte Moore. Charlotte and I started the theatre almost 30 years ago, and this is Charlotte's first night off since then. Oh man, I love it. In fairness, she has applied for several visas to come to Queen's, but the criminal record. Many members of the Irish Rep Board are here tonight, some with connections to Cavan and some who are only learning tonight of its magnificence. We have 2 shows running at the Irish Rep tonight, so most of the staff are actually working tonight. But some of them came here, some of our wonderful staff are here tonight because I told them there was an open bar and they would get fed. And what I forgot to mention that the food would be in lieu of next week's wages. There's my family on West 17th Street where I worked and lived for 30 years. They live in a compartment directly inside my heart. My family from Ireland are here tonight. My sister Eileen, who is also my godmother, came from London. She's with her husband, who is an Englishman. Are you applauding because he's an Englishman? She married an Englishman called Norman. We called it the Norman Invasion. My brother John and Paddy, along with his nephews and niece Shane, Porrick, Ronan and Deirdre are here. Paddy was here before a few times when he wore the chains of office as chairman of the Cavan County Council. I am very proud of my family who give so much time to the community to make Cavan great again. My brother Donald was a major force in the construction of Irish Rep, and he's here with his lovely friend Inga. And my brother Brendan, who is my hero, always being there. I could be here all night to talk about brother Brendan. He's here with the lovely Sheila and my godchild Eveline and the goddess Katrina. And then there's the family who puts up with me every day. I met my wife Jennifer on an elevator nearly 20 years ago, and we've had our ups and downs since then. She is so sick of that joke that she has threatened to divorce me every time I use it. I keep telling it, but that hasn't worked. I co-produced my first production, I'll say this again. I co-produced my favorite production of all time with her, and those titles are Olivia and Seamus. Thank you, Olivia, for not rolling your eyes once throughout this speech. And a special thank you, Seamus, who has managed to stay off his phone for the entirety of this film. Wow. You guys, you rock my world. I came to America on May 11th, 1978. Next month will mark my 40 years in this country. There'll be another party here on that night. So it was a party time. I remember the exact day because when I came I knew nobody and I stayed in a hotel on West 44th Street. On my first morning in New York, I woke early and switched on Good Morning America. Irving Berlin was on, celebrating his 90th birthday, and he sang God Bless America, clankering away on the piano. That was a great omen because I have been blessed by this country and this city. And I thank you so much, all of you, for being here tonight. I will finish with an oft-quoted line by W.B. Yeats, but I feel it's particularly relevant. It says, "Think when man's glory most begin and ends, and say that my glory was that I had such friends." Thank you.